Hi, everyone. It is Wednesday evening. I'm Region Weather Meteorologist Matt Wintz with our Region Weather Live for the week. We've had a couple extra ones this week, and that's okay. And we'll continue to do that as our winter storm moves in. We've got rain now. It's coming down good in spots. Haven't had any thunder or lightning yet. I'm waiting on it. We saw some lightning strikes down towards Missouri early on this evening. Would not be surprised if we had a couple rumbles of thunder around the area as well as this system really starts to move in. The wind's been cranking all day. Temperature still near 50 degrees right now. However, it's going to be on its way down. We'll talk about when that on the way down is. We'll talk about our latest snowfall forecasts, the wind. We've got flooding issues, all sorts of things to cover in this edition of Region Weather Live. And welcome into Region Weather Live, everybody. Thanks for joining us here on this Wednesday evening. Hope you're doing well. Obviously, we've had this well-advertised storm coming in, and now we're starting to see the brunt of it. We had the wind today, the warm temperatures. We've been dealing with some downpours that'll really start to pick up over the next couple hours. So we'll get into that, but we'll give you the presentation of the storm. Then we'll get into the forecasting side of things. As always, have to thank our sponsors of our Region Weather Live broadcast. Tiger Plumbing is now offering $30 off for a new or sump pump check, because obviously with all the rain around, if you're having sump pump problems, that may be something you want to consider getting fixed sooner than later. So they're offering our Region Weather followers $30 off. Again, that is a new sump pump or a backup pump if you perhaps need that. Grieger's our other sponsor out of Valparaiso. Dodge, Jeep, Chrysler, Ram. I'll tell you what, they are wonderful folks there. They have all sorts of new inventory in stock. And after you see the forecasts here, maybe considering a four-wheel drive vehicle. Place to go, right? We appreciate our sponsors big time because they keep the show free. All right, let's get into the details, shall we? Right now, what we're dealing with, big picture-wise, is a storm system that's coming together quite nicely. We've got an area of low pressure digging out of areas near Texas. You can see this flow of moisture, this rich flow out ahead of it coming into the region right now. And then off towards the north, if you look up in areas of the Dakotas up towards Montana, you see how everything's kind of coming down at us. That's some very, very cold air that's filtering into the system as we speak. In terms of the radar presentation, yeah, we're dealing with some heavier downpours now. Things picked up as expected as we went throughout the day today. You can see it's very patchy in terms of the downpours. You get a lot of these yellow spots in there where you get some heavy rain, then things clear out, then you get some heavy rain. And again, I would not be surprised if perhaps we picked up some thunder and lightning here, and that would occur really over the next 4 or 5 hours or so. Even as that cold air is working in, we've still got some activity up above us. But look at the rain right now. We've had decent downpours across northwest Indiana over the course of the evening. We've got another area of rain lining up back towards Rockford, down towards the south. DuPage County now getting some rain. Again, this is going to ramp up over the next couple hours. We'll have real good downpours throughout the early part of the overnight, and that's going to lead to our flooding problems with the snow melt that we've had, a frozen ground, which is thawing out a little bit, but we still have a lot of that ground, especially underneath, that's frozen. So this water doesn't have a whole lot of places to go over the next 5-6 hours when we get this heavy rain. All right, let's get into some of the modeling in terms of what's changed. If you've been joining us over the last couple nights, we've been talking about the track of that low and the track of where that heaviest snow goes and what that looks like. The track has changed just ever so slightly down towards the south. So that's going to bring some of our heavier snowfall totals into our southern counties, so Newton and Jasper County. That's really all that's changed. Everything else is kind of going to go as expected. Yesterday, we talked about the two waves with this system. Wave one's we're working through now, through probably about the 5 or 6 a.m. hour. We should see things back off a little bit. We'll turn to some mix after that, a little bit of ice as well. And then we deal with wave two, which looks to be really the most prolific out of the two. All right, so here we go. We're going to turn on the winter weather product with this. This is the latest NAM Nest. The good news is all the models line up really, really nicely this evening. So the 12Z models that came out earlier today, still wasn't happy with their placement of the low. I still wasn't happy with their snowfall accumulations. If you remember last night, we were tracking some of these models saying 15 to 18 inches. One of them even had 20 inches in northwest Indiana. I didn't buy it. I was sticking with my 5 to 9. I'm still staying with my 5 to 9. I really feel like that's how much snow we're going to get. Again, it doesn't matter. It's impacts, and we're going to see some impacts from that. But the models are lining up much better. A lot of them have kind of come off the ledge in terms of the high snowfall totals, but some of them still cranking out some snow. So we'll have to still consider those. All right, so let's go through time. Let's time out how this system behaves tonight. Let's time out how this system behaves tomorrow, and then we can start to coordinate your plans if perhaps you have those that involve travel around the region tomorrow. So here's the rain tonight. We're still on the warm side of things. When do I see the temperature drop? I think our temperature is going to crash around the midnight to 2 o'clock hour tonight. We're going to go from, we're at 49 right now in Valparaiso. We're in the 50s down in areas near Rensselaer, southern Newton and Jasper counties in the 50s as well. All of us tonight are going to go from 50. It'll probably hold near 50 down to the 30s in a matter of an hour and a half or so. And I think that changeover occurs between 12 and 2 in terms of the air mass changeover, right? The precip's going to lag on that. So give it another hour or two after that, and we'll start to have some wintry mix develop around the area. But again, that changeover I'm thinking is going to be between 12 midnight and 2 o'clock in the morning. So here we go. As we go through time, we've got heavy rain, maybe some thunder and lightning over the next couple hours. Here's where the cold air starts to work in. So we're now in the 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning time range. And you notice how we have the rain changes over to a very brief period of some sleet and freezing rain. It'll be freezing rain first, then sleet after that before the snow. It does look like things wind down in the morning, though. So that morning rush hour, I don't think is going to be that bad. I said that yesterday, and I think the models have really held on to this idea that everything kind of backs off. We may have some light freezing drizzle. We may have a couple sleet pellets here and there, but it doesn't look like there's going to be any uniform, consistent precip falling tomorrow morning. Things change, and this is when we go downhill again, midday through afternoon tomorrow. You notice how things back off. There's some flurry activity. There's some freezing rain, some sleet. We're now up to 10 o'clock in the morning. This is 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. We bring in the second wave. The second wave of moisture, as I mentioned, is a little bit further down to the south. So that's going to bring some of our bigger impacts to Newton, Jasper, and Stark counties. If you're in Lake Porter, LaPorte counties, it's not going to be, easy going at all. It just takes some of that heavier precip down to the south. So here we go. This is now lining up. This is 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We've got a lake effect band that's developed. Doesn't look too intense, but that will likely bring some snow showers into areas of Lake County, again, just after lunchtime. Otherwise, you have this wave coming in. It still looks like we're going to see some icing. Temperatures are going to be cold enough to produce snow. We'll likely be in the 20s at this point. But what happens is it's a very shallow layer of cold. So we'll be in the 20s here at the surface, but you go just up above us in the atmosphere and you get some warm air that's coming in aloft, right? Cold air, remember, is heavy and dense, right? Cold air likes to sink. Warm air likes to rise. That's why in the summertime you get rising air, right, from the heat that produces big thunderstorms. Cold air is heavier, so it sinks. So that cold air layer is going to settle in at the ground because it's heavier, but the system still has, via the jet stream, some warm air coming up above that. Why is that a problem? Because you have clouds up here, precip's falling as snow. It hits that warm air, which we're expecting it to do still in the afternoon in our southern counties, and that snow melts and turns into rain. That cold air here at the ground will likely have our temperatures below freezing. That rain doesn't have enough time to refreeze, so it hits the ground. Ground is frozen because it's below freezing. That's your freezing rain. When you have sleet, you have that same snowflake that melts, but there's a bigger area of cold air at the surface, so that rain falls and it's allowed to refreeze into a pellet or a sleet pellet, right? So sleet, you have a bigger area of colder air with warm air up above it. Freezing rain, you have a shallow area of cold air where it doesn't have enough time to refreeze into a pellet. It stays as a raindrop. Bottom line, that science explanation for you is because that's what we've got going on up above us, even tomorrow afternoon. I think we're all snow in our northern counties. We're not going to have to worry about precip type. But you notice as that second wave moves in, we're still having some mixing in our southern counties. So that's from southern Newton and Jasper County, maybe up to Stark County, but I think it'll really stay confined to our southern two counties. As we go throughout the afternoon, here comes our wave of precip. You notice the snow is heavy at times, favoring our southern counties. This will stretch down towards Indianapolis as well. That wave will eventually start to move out by Thursday night. So our window of time for snow and perhaps some heavy snow at times, we're still thinking that is going to be just after lunchtime through about the 9 or 10 o'clock hour at night. That window is when things are going to go downhill. We're going to have some icing down to the south that becomes heavy snow. We're going to have moderate snow elsewhere that could be heavy at times before that whole system moves on out. That's where we're going to get our snow accumulation. And again, in terms of totals, I'm still thinking 5 to 9. Could get the 5. Don't focus on the 9. Not everyone's going to see 9. But again, I think we'll all fall in that range. The lesser amounts are going to favor our northern tier counties. So that would be Lake Porter, LaPorte. Our higher amounts are going to favor our southern tier counties with a sharp cutoff where we have more icing. We'll look at totals on the map too. I just want to kind of give you the heads up because I know a lot of people don't stay for the whole Region Weather Live, and that's okay. I want you to be able to get that important information out early. All right, so as we go through time, you notice we still have lake effect snow ongoing tomorrow night. This is going to be a very brief window because we've got a clipper system moving in Saturday right on the heels of this. That clipper is going to shift our winds around quickly. We're still expecting that. So this lake effect snow isn't going to last too long. It could be coming down pretty good. I think, moreover, it's just going to be kind of a snow shower event where we might pick up maybe a half an inch an hour with it. But you can see where that starts. Likely in Lake County tomorrow night after the snow from the system clears. It'll transition to Porter, LaPorte, and then eventually out of the region by early Friday. So Friday morning, this is what it looks like. Things should be fairly clear. We'll likely still have some snow showers in LaPorte County. Shouldn't be anything to write home about, but all the roads should start to get cleared up as we get into the Friday morning time frame. The precip from the system looks to wind down. This is Thursday night around 10 or 11, right? So that'll give the Department of Transportation enough time, hopefully, to get things going and get things cleared for Friday morning. Problem is, all the rain that we have is going to be frozen, right? All that standing water is going to freeze. Any puddles on the sides of roads or anything like that, that's going to freeze. So that's going to be problematic. We're going to put a layer of heavy snow on top of that. So it is going to be messy around here. It's going to be very wintry by Friday morning. So don't expect it to be clean and dandy and easy to go. But again, things should be improving Friday morning. And by Friday evening and Friday afternoon, we're looking great. If you have travel plans anywhere, no weather concerns. Our wind will shift around to the southwest and we'll bring in another system. All right. So that's kind of how things pan out in terms of the system. Let's look at a couple things. I do want to look at the latest icing product. This is our freezing rain expectation. So this is how much ice basically is expected to fall within the system. Amounts went up with the 12Z run. They've come back down with this latest run, which is the 18Z run. So we're talking a light icing. The graphic I put out this morning that showed the winter storm timeline, nothing's changed on that. I think that's a very accurate forecast still, which is great. I think we'll have light icing in the morning. And again, if you don't see that graphic, it's on our Facebook page, regionweather.com as well. We have a post with that. And again, it has light icing tomorrow morning, and then we get towards that heavier snow potential for a while. So icing doesn't look to be too big of an issue. Let's talk snowfall. This is what the latest NAM-NEST model is saying, and I'll go through the other models. Then we'll answer your questions, and we'll be on our way. Should be pretty self-explanatory in terms of how this storm goes from here after we get through everything. So this is the latest NAM-NEST, and you notice it's cut back on some of our totals in our northern tier counties with that southern shift. They're still saying about 3 or 4 inches in our northern counties. Again, this is a model. This isn't my forecast, but it's a model, and we have to respect it because it's a new one. And you can see down to the south, we may have some pockets, maybe up to 10 inches in spots where that heaviest snow falls. I have a feeling some of that might be polluted by some sleet. Sometimes the models will pick up on sleet and think it's snow, and so it accumulates a little bit more. But still, some pretty decent totals where that heaviest snow falls. The other model I want to show you is the HRRR. Remember, we looked at the HRRR. I looked at the newest model run with you last night, and it was spitting out 15 to 20 inches. Right? And I said, it's something we're going to have to consider, but we're not going that high. Thank goodness we didn't, because everything kind of came down with the latest HRRR. But you notice this has it a little bit further north. So this has the general thinking that kind of aligns with my forecast of 5 to 9 inches area wide. And you can see some of the totals. It's picking up on some of that lake effect as well, maybe a little lake enhancement with this. So it's saying anywhere from 9 to up to 12 inches in areas of Lake and Porter County. Definitely higher totals in our northern counties, says the HRRR. Our other models I'll show you, I've got them lined up and ready to go here. This is the latest Euro run. The Euro shifted south as well. and the Euro's backed off in some of the totals. So it's saying a general 4 to 6 in our northern tier counties. It's saying a little bit more, anywhere from about 6 to 8 inches in our southern tier counties, and that would be Stark, Newton, and Jasper counties. I'll show you the GFS because GFS is further north. That still brings the sweet spot through our area. And you can see that's got a general 5 in spots. So that would be a 5 to 10 area wide, says the GFS. Do you guys remember the GFS a couple days ago? Actually, yesterday was saying 15 to 18 inches, and it was heavy on the precip. That, I guarantee, is what you've been seeing on social media has been the GFS, because it always is the most scary, right? With the precip, and then it kind of backs down. So that's what we've seen. But you notice how they're all kind of aligning in terms of, I think a 5 to 9 range is great. And again, it's about the impacts, and things will be impacted travel-wise as we get into the afternoon and evening tomorrow. So that's really what your takeaway needs to be from this. This is our Canadian model, and you can see it's saying anywhere from 4 to 8 inches. So even the Canadian agrees right through Northwest Indiana. What a place to be, right? This is going to be where we get some of the highest totals from this entire storm system in terms of the snowy sides of things, okay? So that's really our synopsis. That's all I've got for you tonight. You guys always ask fantastic questions, so if you could line them up, I'll get to as many as I can. We'll leave this kind of looping here as we go about, and let me scroll down to the new comments. And hi, everybody that said hi at the beginning. I certainly appreciate that. Chris starts us off by saying, can the snow leave already? Well, we got rid of most of it today, Chris. That's the good news. Problem is we're going to replace it with some fresh powder. At least we're getting rid of the muddy stuff, right? We'll see. Rhonda is down in Southern Illinois until Saturday. Rhonda, you're in a good place to be. It's much warmer down there right now. You're still going to get some snow from this, but yeah, not nearly these totals as much. Kristen says, so the 5 to 9 for Lake County won't be until tomorrow evening. Kristen, the snow's going to start falling in Lake County. My guess, you're going to have a little icing in the morning, but midday, I would say anytime after lunch, things will start to go downhill. So from lunchtime to 9 o'clock at night, you should have 5 to 9 inches by 9 o'clock at night. But most of that's going to be falling in the afternoon. That evening rush hour tomorrow looks real tricky. And then tomorrow evening, it'll start to wind down for sure, okay? Yeah, Darren, I'm seeing a lot of this. Darren says Chicago stations are saying possible blizzard-like conditions. And so, you know, what they're picking up on is the wind off the lake. We're going to have a decent wind off the lake. It'll probably be on the order of 20 to 35 mile per hour at times. As the air cools, our snowflakes will turn from a wet snowflake over to a lighter snowflake. So there will be a lot of blowing snow. I could see that. I don't know. You know, blizzard's such a buzzword. You need real strong winds for amount of hours. So that's why they're not saying blizzard, they're saying blizzard-like. I get that. There could be a period of time where we do see some blizzard-like conditions. I don't want to say that's overhyping, because I don't think it's overhyping. The snow is going to be coming down good at times. We're going to add a 20 to 30 mile per hour wind with that at times. It's not going to be constant, but certainly, you know, things are going to get rough, and I could see that being true. You know, but I'm certainly not going to hype it with, you know, big blizzard tomorrow, because we can handle it, right? This is going to be a storm we can handle. Time frame that we all need to be aware of, again, is midday tomorrow through tomorrow evening. And again, keep in mind, Friday morning is going to be tricky too, because our temperatures crash, right? Let me go through temperatures real quick, just so you can see them. And I want you to see how quickly they fall. See, they went to the cloud, as I mentioned, and this is, gosh, everything's just racing through on this map. I can't even stop it. It's going crazy. My daughter would like it. Looks like a unicorn. It's just going nuts right now. I don't know what's happening. All right. All right. I pressed stop a billion times. Let me just get you a little refresh here. Gosh, I hope no one is going crazy from seeing that. That was nuts. Okay, let's go back to temps here. We'll take another look. Hopefully, we'll see what happens here. All right, so here we go. So we're in the 40s now. Hopefully you guys can see us. Let me go full screen so you guys can see us just a little bit better. There you go. But you can see we're in the 40s and near 50 degrees now. Here's our temp drop. Notice how we went from 49 to 35 in a matter of an hour in our northern counties. That sinks south. These are your temps tomorrow morning, right near freezing. So again, we're going to have some freezing rain, sleet just scattered tomorrow morning. Morning rush hour looks okay. May have some icy spots developing, but doesn't look that bad. I think we'll be fine tomorrow morning. And then here's tomorrow afternoon and evening. We're in the 20s now. So that's a different kind of snowflake that'll be falling. And then eventually we're in the teens. So this is when everything freezes up Friday during the day, right? In terms of wind gusts, the strongest winds are now. They've been throughout the day today. We've had gusts still to 40 this evening. But look how this air mass changed. See that big line right there? See how it's kind of in a linear format? Those are two different air masses. All of this down here in the bright pink, these are 40 to 50 mile per hour winds going north. All right. They're all going north towards that line. All the wind up here, these are 20 to 30 mile per hour winds going south. Does anyone ask the question, where is this air going? Right? You've got air going into this air. It's all colliding. So where does it go? It goes up, right? It can't go into the ground. So all this air collides and goes up. That's why we've got such high rainfall rates this evening, because the air is colliding literally 50 miles per hour this way, 30 mile per hour this way. You have 80 mile per hour wind colliding and going up into the atmosphere to create heavy rain and clouds. And that's, again, why we think the heavy rain is going to continue this evening, because you've got just incredible amounts of collision going on here at the surface. It's really incredible. Sorry, I geeked out for a second. I kind of felt like skilling for just a second. But you can see as we go through time, the winds back off a little bit. We're now in a different air mass tomorrow morning. And there's your wind gusts right there. So we'll have gusts, 35, 40 miles per hour, sometimes at the lakefront. Little windy push again last night or tomorrow night with that low going through. And then things will back off on the Friday. So I hope that helps in terms of kind of how that's going to shape up. I wish I could slow down the speed of this. It's going rapid speed. It's crazy. All right. Forward ahead to your questions here. Friday morning, Caitlin looks good. Shar, you're welcome. Aaron, your trip will be just fine. You'll be just fine on Saturday. Everything looks good. A couple flurries coming in with a clipper system on Saturday. I don't think it'll be too much. Louis, we're looking at 5 to 9. That's our predictions, 5 to 9 inches. Again, don't focus on the exact number, because, if we get 10, I don't want to hear about it. If we get 4, I don't want to hear about it. Impacts are the same, right? Impacts are going to be that evening rush hour tomorrow afternoon, evening. We're going to have snow, and we're going to be snow covered, and we're going to have ice underneath that a little bit. Not a lot of icing with this, but some. And again, the big issue is going to be all this rain, all the snow melt we have is also going to freeze. So we're going to have a layer of ice. We're going to have a layer of ice that falls from the sky. Then we're going to put snow on top of that. It's going to be a frozen block by Friday. So that's kind of the issue for sure. Kathy says, how often do we basically get back-to-back rain that turns to ice and snow? Kathy, it's pretty common. It just depends on the track of these low pressure systems, but it's common. I mean, that's what forms these storm systems, is the mix of warm versus cold air. And that dividing line has to be somewhere. And usually with the jet stream moving in from west to east, you get that dividing line either right through Indiana, sometimes right through Ohio, sometimes up towards Wisconsin. As we get later into the spring, or as we get into March, we'll start to see these battle lines taking place up north, and we'll be all rain through these. How boring is that, right? I'm just kidding. I know we all really could use the all rain at this point because we're over the snow, right? Sin asks a great question. Blowing and drifting tomorrow night. Yeah, I think so. We'll have a pretty fluffy snow tomorrow night. Remember, the wind is going to back off tomorrow night a bit, so the blowing and drifting should subside. On top of this, though, Saturday's system, that clipper that comes in, that's going to bring some wind. I think we'll have gusts 30, 40 on Saturday as well, especially midday afternoon, as this is so we could see some more blowing and drifting snow around. Erica, I think lunchtime onward. So anytime after lunch, we'll start to go downhill. I think that evening rush hour, again, is going to be impacted. Probably hear my phone going off. There's a bunch of new advisories that they've kind of updated the timing on. Nothing you need to know about, though. Debbie asks, any warm to look forward to soon? Yeah, Sunday looks pretty good. Sunday, Monday next week, we're going to warm up. I think we'll be back into the 50s. We bounce back pretty quickly. And keep in mind, this time of year, with that sun angle getting higher in the sky, we're going to continue to bounce back quickly. So, we've had 70s this time of year before. Not all every year, but some years we have 60s in February. So the atmosphere is certainly capable of it, but it doesn't look like we have any of those in the near future. Some 50s though. Tracy says, what does Friday morning look like? Tracy, it looks like Friday morning will be improving. Again, everything's going to be an ice block. It's going to be about cleanup by then, right? Erica has to travel from DeMont to Lake Station tomorrow for work 5 a.m. No, I think you'll be okay. We'll likely have some sleet or freezing rain trying to fall. Again, temperatures will just be coming down below freezing at that point. So you may have some slick spots. I think if everything's treated, though, we should be okay for that morning rush hour. My concern would be, what time do you have to travel back? That would be the only concern. Susan, the winds will be gusty. The winds will back off, though. The strongest winds are now. Tomorrow, I think 20 to 35 mile per hour winds. So not a huge windstorm out of this. So Lori, not good tomorrow. Is this 6:30 in the evening? Yeah, unless you're working the overnight shift, 6:30 in the morning is looking much better than 6:30 in the evening. 6:30 in the evening, we'll have had some heavy snow and it'll likely still be snowing pretty good. Gabrina, I don't think so in terms of flight delays. They should be okay for sure. Oh, Lisa, thanks. Lisa's been with us since the very beginning. She followed me at Lakeshore Public Television. Lisa, I remember, getting to know you through Facebook way back then. So thank you for just all your support over the years for sure. Everyone's sold out of snowblowers. I see that. Susan, the winds will settle down Friday. Let's see. Carol, when are roads more icy? Tomorrow afternoon for sure. Tomorrow morning, we get a little break in the precip, okay? So I want to make sure I want to make sure that message is heard, okay? Tomorrow morning, we get a break. Let's go back to it in case some of you just joined. So we get all this rain tonight. It changes over to a little wintry mix into the morning hours. And then look how it backs off. See, there's not a lot going on. So you're going to wake up tomorrow. You're going to say, where is everything on the radar? Where's my snowstorm, right? That comes in after lunchtime into the afternoon with this next wave, right? So we get a break. Another wave comes in. That brings the heavier snow in the afternoon and evening. So we get a break tomorrow morning. A little bit of sleet here, a little bit of freezing rain there, but no widespread precip tomorrow morning, okay? I just want to make sure we all hear that message clear. Yes, Jessica, tomorrow morning looks okay for commuting. Tomorrow afternoon commute does not look good. Again, it depends on what kind of winter weather driver you are, for sure. We'll see. All right. Nick says 30 plus 50 does not equal 80. Nick, it was figuratively coming together. That's funny. What? Give someone an Oh, Nick's a first-time viewer. That's great. Nick, I am a meteorologist, and this is an Emmy award up here. I don't know if you can see it, Nick. Thanks for joining us, though, buddy. All right, more ice than last storm. Kathy, I don't think so. I don't think we're going to have a whole lot of ice with this storm system. Again, tomorrow morning's really that only window for ice. You get down towards Newton and Jasper counties, though, we may have that second wave coming with a little bit of ice as well. So they may end up with more, but again, I think this is going to be a little bit different in terms of all that. All right. Vicky, you're welcome for sure. Andrew asked, how will conditions be driving from Hobart to Wheatfield 3:30 tomorrow? Gosh, Andrew, I don't think good. I think the snow will have already started. We'll likely have some decent snowfall rates, so things are going to go downhill in a hurry. We'll be in the 20s, so that's going to be problematic because all the water we have is going to be freezing. So I don't think conditions will be great at 3:30. I think they'll be a little bit worse after that. We'll see. Joe's taking a personal day tomorrow. All right, I agree with that. Just make sure your employer's okay with that, for sure. That's awesome. Aaron, thanks. I know, that's okay. Listen, I get trolls all the time. I have for years. It's just part of the business, so I get it. Some people tune in and they see some guy, talking about the weather. That's okay. I don't hate. Mike, I think anywhere from I've got 5 to 9 still slated for you in Griffith. I think most of Northwest Indiana will fall into that category for sure. Yeah, Nathaniel, everything's coming in less because it's shifted south a little bit. So that takes this main wave south. And again, that's going to bring the heaviest snow down towards Newton and Jasper counties for sure. And that 0Z is about done loading now. So that's what we're looking at. It's a 0Z right now. So let's look at the latest snowfall from that. Again, this is the NAM-NEST. There's lots of modeling. So yeah, 0Z is what we looked at a little bit earlier. It's got general 2 to 4 in our northern tier counties with the heaviest snow south. So I still think 5 to 9 looks good. Again, either way, if you get 4 or 5 in Lake and Porter counties, if this verifies, not saying it will, but if you do, we could certainly still see the same impacts tomorrow evening, right? Kylie, this is going to be a heavy wet snow at first, but it's not going to last long. It's going to get fluffier as we go throughout the event. So we'll see. All right. Yes, Mark, great call on that. Cleaning out the storm drains. We still have time to do that with the rain. There's a lot of debris and stuff from the snow that we've had on the ground for a while. So yeah, it's a good idea to get that debris out of your storm drains. Just make sure the water has somewhere to go with this rain that's coming in. Let's get it all down in the drainage system. That way there's not a lot of standing water when all this stuff freezes, right? Great call on that, Mark, for sure. Stephanie asked, do I know what the commute will be like from Griffith to around St. John in the afternoon? Yeah, it's going to be rough, Stephanie. We'll have some snow that comes in with that second wave. You're fine through about midday, but again, it's early afternoon that things are really going to go downhill. So keep that in mind. Region News Source, absolutely. Thanks for all your hard work in the region as well. You guys do a lot of great work on the news side of things. We should probably team up, news and weather together. What could be better? Well, sports would be pretty good too, I'll be honest. How is the commute at 3:30 for Porter County? Jamaica, I don't think it looks good. Again, we'll have that snow moving in. We'll likely have snow-covered streets and some pretty decent rates coming down at that time. So not great. Again, if you're a good winter weather driver, you'll be okay with it, okay? All right. Seeing a lot of thank you. Nick, you're welcome. Jose, you're welcome, buddy. Rhonda, you're welcome. Chris, you're welcome. Erica asked 3 loaves still. Erica, I said 2.5 as long as it's sprouted grain. So yeah, 3 if you're eating the the white or the wheat bread for sure. Shane, I hope you're okay. If I sound sniffly, I think it's because I'm losing my voice. We've done a lot of on-air coverage too because the storm's hitting here. So I think my voice is going around for sure. We'll see. Leanna, what we'll do tomorrow, yeah, we'll probably go live tomorrow night. I'm going to be stuck on the TV side of things doing some coverage as well. So I may not have a lot of time to go live. I'll definitely have a lot of nowcasting tomorrow. So I'll be putting out, the radar, circling some things on there in terms of what's going on, where that changeover is. But I'll be on it tomorrow for sure. It's definitely going to be front and center in my mind. So keep that in mind, okay? Sharon still can't find a snowblower. We tried to hook Sharon up yesterday. Does anyone know where she can find a snowblower? Sharon, this is probably going to be a good time to have a snowblower too, because the snow is going to be easy to shoot out of there. It's not the heavy wet snow. So if we could help Sharon out, that would be great. All right, guys, we'll let you go here on this Wednesday evening. Thanks so much for joining us. Certainly appreciate you and your support. I hope we, get through this okay. It's not apocalyptic. Keep that in mind. It's a storm, but we are going to have some issues tomorrow afternoon and evening for that commute. And then again, some residual effects on Friday morning, okay? If you missed any part of this video, you can go back. We'll post it on our page. Again, you can scroll forward and back and get what you need out of it. We covered most of it up the top in terms of the analysis, so that should help, okay? Dee, you're welcome. Lisa, you're welcome. Brandy, you're welcome. Cindy, you're welcome. And Sharon, I hope you find a snowblower. I really do. DK, you're welcome as well. All right, guys, enjoy your evening. We'll talk to you soon. All right, as rain changes over to a little wintry mix in the morning. And again, it's that second wave that we'll have to watch for. That's just after lunchtime, okay? So not a lot going on until after lunchtime tomorrow. All right, thanks again. Talk to you soon.